create your course in System.io. All right, I'm inside my System School under courses, but before we begin, I want to show you the landing page and the sales order form that this course is going to get attached. So for that, I'm going to go to Sites and Sales Funnels, and I have my sales funnel here, which is the AI Adventures membership. And in the membership, you can see I have a bunch of digital products. So this is my AI membership, and if you get access to my AI membership, these are all the courses you get. So right now I have an AI Adventures membership course in here, a ChatGPT course, a AI blogging mastery course, and then I also tag them. And all of this is done on System. This is the order form page. Now, if I show you my other funnel, which was my in-person GPT workshop, it's this one. And here you can see there's a sales page and then a order form. And the order form is where you can connect your assets, such as your courses, your bundles, your communities, etc. So you can see here I have different courses for that in-person workshop. So what we're going to do today is we are going to create a new course and we are going to attach that to my AI Adventures membership. Now this course is going to be called the Prompt Mastery course. So to create a course, you're going to go to Assets and Courses. And from here, let's create or add a new course. And there are a few steps here we're going to go through. So the first is the name of the course. And once you have added your name, you're going to pick your domain. Depending on the system plan you are on, your number of domains that you can connect within your account will change. And then finally, I want to give my path for this course. Perfect. And lastly, I will pick a theme. This will be your color theme for your course player. So let's select this and hit save. Now that our course is created, I can see it here. I can see there are 17 courses, but you will notice that this course does not have a green check mark. That means it is not active, and we will make this active by the end of this video. But first, I need to add some content in this course before we can activate. So for that, we're going to click on the three dots here, the ellipsis, and click on setting. Before I add any content, I want to go in my course settings, show you a few things here, and then I'll show you how to add content, because that is the easiest part of this video. So in settings, what I want to do is make sure I have my name under the instructor name, and then make sure my language is selected. So my course language is English. Course title is already here. Now let's give our course a description. All right, so I've added my description. We can change our custom domain here if we want to. I'm going to leave it the same. Same thing with the URL for the course. I'm going to leave it exactly the same. Another thing to note here is whenever you create a course, the /school/course automatically gets appended to your URL. And as far as I know, there is no way to change that /course/school URL. Our theme that we selected earlier, if you wanted to change that, you could do it here. And then your font. Now, the next step is your image. So the teacher's image, the logo for your school, and your course cover. And as you hover over these things, you'll kind of see what these mean. So let's go ahead and add those things. My teacher photo, my logo, and then my course cover. And as I mentioned earlier, when you click on these little question mark, the little help text bubbles, it'll show you what is the purpose of this. Now, what I wish it will also show me right here without even clicking on the bubble is what dimension should these images be. Right now, there is no way for me to figure out what these dimensions are. When I uploaded this course cover image, there was a crop window to allow me to crop this to their desired dimensions or their specific dimensions, but I have no clue what those are. So if the system team is watching this, please implement these feedback so we can have a better user interface. All right, further down here, I can choose my sales funnel. So this is going in the AI Adventures membership. So I'm going to choose that, and the funnel step is the membership checkout. That's where it gets attached to that order form. And then towards the end of it, once we publish this course, we'll also go back to that funnel and make sure that this course is showing up in there. And then, yes, I want to show module titles for my students and also enable email reminders. And then when you enable email reminders, you can edit the reminder email and the reminder settings. So in the settings, what you can do is, let's say you want to remind your students a week after they've enrolled that, hey, how's everything going? And who should receive these reminders? So first, let's do 7 days after they've enrolled. And let's just pick a random time, probably early in the morning. system. And then what system is asking you is who should receive this reminder? Someone who has not started yet or in progress. So I'm going to say in progress, and if their progress is 50%, and the help text says notify students who are actively enrolled in the course once they are reach this progress percentage. So maybe I want to do it to those who have not started, because if someone reaches a specific progress percentage, I might want to send them a different email reminder. But for this one, I want to send a hey, how's it going? I see you haven't started yet. What can I do to help you? And this will increase the adoption and hopefully decrease your refund rate. And then I want to send this once and hit save. So our reminder email is set. And then to go in here, you can go and customize what that reminder email should look like. We're not going to get into the email editor piece today for this video, but just know that you can go in here and make those changes. And then if you want to have a embeddable JavaScript code or HTML, you can have that here. I don't have that for this video. And finally, if you want to issue a certificate of completion, you can do that at the end of the course. Highly recommend that. And if you do, you can also upload the logo and the signature for that certificate of completion. So now that our settings are done, this is a one-time and done. Of course, you can always come back here to change your settings, but know that typically this is a one-time setup. Now, when I hit save, I saw there was an error message. It said, please set up the email reminder before saving. Okay, let's just cancel the email reminder for now because I didn't go and set the actual email. I'm not able to save it. All right, now my second piece of advice for the system team and also for you as a course creator. This is where the UI kind of can be improved, because once I hit save, next I want to go and start adding my lessons. But here I have no place to go and add my lessons. So typically what I do is I go back to courses, and from here I go and edit the curriculum. Now the curriculum is a blank slate. Let me show you how to add your modules and then your lessons under those modules. So first we're going to go in and add module. I'm going to add a few modules. Pause this video and I'll be right back. All right, I have added 3 modules: master prompts, ChatGPT prompts, and Gemini prompts. And what I want to do is add a few lessons inside each of these modules. So to do that, you're going to click on, you guessed it, add lecture. And once you add lecture, now same thing applies here as we did with modules. First, you want to add your name for your lecture. So let me give this a name. Once you've given it a name, you can add a delay. So if you're going to drip this out, you can say maybe do this after 1 day. Instead of giving them access to this lecture on day 1, you can delay this for a number of days. Right now, we're going to keep it 0. And you can also enable comments under that lesson. So let's enable the comments. And finally, you can choose one of these 3 pre-made templates. I really don't care about the templates because I'm going to show you how you can completely customize the course area to make it however you want it to be. So for now, let's just pick a random template and hit save. Now the template saving, once I show you what we're going to do next, is a one-time thing, and then I will show you how you can make that into a repeatable process. So first is, let's go inside the lesson and show you what you can add to this lesson. Right, you're going to see elements and blocks, and you'll also see there's a way to collapse this sidebar and also expand it back. So from here, we can add text, we can add headline, bulleted list, so on and so forth. And then this is our template. So what I like about this template is this recommended references for this lecture. So I do like that, but I don't really care about this piece here. So I'm going to delete this row and then also delete this row and maybe get rid of this extra text here. So now we are left with our lecture title and then also the video. In this case, it's an image, but we can add a video by simply taking the video element and dropping it here, and we can get rid of this image element. When you add a video, there are 3 ways you can add it. You can either embed a direct link, so you can see there's a YouTube link here, or you can upload a video or do a custom embed. A custom embed would be something like a Loom video, or maybe your video is hosted on a CDN like BunnyNet or anything, right? You have a custom embed code, maybe from Amazon AWS, you can put that in here. So for now, we are going to leave this as upload file, and I already have some videos in here. So I'm going to choose this one and insert it right here. Now, since this is already in my system library, it can easily pull it, but you should also be able to upload your video into the system library. There's no limitations on how much you can upload. Then you can also choose whether you want to do autoplay on or off. I typically like to keep it off because it can get get annoying if they are reading the title, or if you have other reference materials. While they are trying to use those reference materials, they might not want that autoplay to come into effect. Further down, you can change the thumbnail image for this video. So let's go and pick this image, add that as my thumbnail, and then once they click play, they'll be able to go through the video. And then there are some other settings here. These are pretty self-explanatory, so I will move on to showing you how you can save this as your default, so that every time you add a lesson/lecture, you don't have to customize it over and over again. And what I mean by that is, if I hit save and exit this, and now let's say I want to add a second lesson. Here, what I'll have to do is click on add lecture again. So let's do that. And then select the template again. So let's do that as well. And then once the template is selected, I can go in and customize it, but I have to do that exact thing all over again. And that can get tedious. So now what I'm going to do is go and delete that second lesson. Let's just delete it. Then what we'll do is take the one that we already have and we can duplicate. So that's one way to do it, but we want an advanced way. So this is the beginner way to do it, right? You just duplicate the lesson, you go change the video, and then you go change the name. However, there is another way to do it. And for that, let me go back in here and show you what that way is. So first, I want to make sure that I am satisfied with this layout. For now, it looks good, but maybe I want to add an audio file here as well, because I like to give my students the audio option on top of the video option. So when you add an audio file, you can again go to settings, do a direct link, or upload the audio file. All right, so this looks good. Now what I want to do is I want to select this entire section. So you can see how I can select different elements within this section. And anytime you select an element, you can see the breadcrumbs here. So this is a text element that sits inside a row, and that row sits inside a section. And that's what we want. We want to select that entire section. And then once you've selected that section, you're going to hit save on the section. And what we're going to do is we're going to call this our master course template. So save this as my master template. Now you'll see there's a checkbox here which says, do you want to create a master block? Do not pick that unless you want this block to be universal. And what I mean by that is, if you say, yes, this should be a master block, anytime you add this to a lecture, it's going to remain the same, which means every lecture will have the same block. And if you change it once, it's going to change it on 10, 20, 30, 100 different lectures. If that's what you want, then perfect, do it. And I can see that being a use case, right? Maybe you provide a resource that lives on Google Drive, but you know that 6 months down the line, you might change and not provide that resource on Google Drive anymore. Maybe you're in an interim phase where you look, or maybe this is a button and this button leads to a specific offer, but in the future that button link could change. Those are the use cases where you would want a master block, not inside a lecture lesson. So I hope that makes sense. I'm not going to save this as a master block, and I'm going to hit save. All right, so now that I have saved my block, let me show you how to add it. So I'm going to add a new lecture, and from here, doesn't matter, now we can select any template. From that template, let's go into our lesson, delete this section, and then we're going to go to block. From blocks, we're going to choose my block, and you will see this one right here, master course template, prompt mastery. And just like that, you've added it. Now all you need to do is change your lesson name, change the video, change the resources, and you're good to go. Now let's say you want to start this from scratch. What you can do is we will do this exact same thing, but this time, instead of starting with that template, I'm going to build it from scratch. So I've deleted everything. Let's add a section in here. So I just clicked it and that section gets added. Within that section, let's add a 2-column layout. So I want to make sure that I drag this one inside the section, and then let's expand this a bit. So we have a bigger area on our left side, and in that bigger area, we're going to add a video. And then on the right side, I want to add a content box, and then within that content box, I will be adding a audio file, and then I want to add a resource list. So for that, let's add a headline and a bullet, and that bulleted list will be my resources. I'll call this one resources, and those resources can be linked. And then finally on top here, I want to add another headline, and this will be my lesson title or my lecture title. So I'm just going to leave it like this. And then finally, when you are happy with everything that you have added, you can just hit save again and give this a name. And then once you've given it the name, you'll be able to save it. So I've already created one. Let me show you how it looks. If I go to my block, you will see there is the master 2. So all I'd have to do is click on it, gets added. Here's my lesson name, my video, and then my resources and my audio file. And that's how you can build this from scratch. Now, let me go ahead and add a few lessons so I can show you a few more things before we finalize this course. All right, so what I've done is I've taken the lessons and dragged them across so that each module has a lecture/lesson in it, but you can see that they're not active. Before we activate them, a few other things to show you. You can click on the lesson name. You can activate a specific lesson. So maybe you're working on a live course and some of the lessons you want to leave draft. You can do that. And then you can also edit it, which takes you back inside that lesson. Then you can also view it, and that will show you a preview of what this lesson would look like to your students. So this is what it would look like. And if you remember, we had enabled the comments, so they'll be able to go and write their comment here. Then you can also go back into the settings. Then you can also go back in the settings, and that allows you to rename the lesson, add a delay, and then also disable the comments if you have enabled. And then finally, you can create a drip access email. You can duplicate this, which we already saw, or you can delete. So let's go ahead and activate this, and I'm going to do the same for the other two. And then I have one final thing to show you before we launch this course. So I have my 3 lessons activated, but now what I want is I want a quiz at the end of all of this so that I can give my students a lesson completion or a course completion certificate. So to do that, what you need to do is hover over one of these modules, and here you will see the create a quiz for this module. So we're going to click that, and you will get a confirmation toast. We're going to go ahead and say yes, and then from here you can add question. Now, one thing to note here is System Quiz Builder is not an advanced quiz builder. It doesn't have branching logic. It doesn't have the different type of quiz questions you can ask, like a rating, a slider. It's very basic, but it works. So let's add our question here. So I've added my quiz question. Now I need to go and add answers. So just go and click on that question. You can hit the little chevron, or you can hit 3 dots and go to settings. Now that I've added my question, I need to add my answer. So you can hit this little chevron and then click on add answer. And then you just let system.io know which one of these is the right answer. So I've added 3 options, and I'm marking this one as the correct answer. And now you can see that correct answer is identified in green color. Similarly, you can keep adding more questions. For now, what I'm going to do is activate the quiz. But before I do that, I'm going to go into settings and set my threshold. And right now the threshold is set at 100, which for one question quiz makes sense. And the threshold is what percentage do your students need to get to pass this quiz. So you can set this at 0%, 50%, 100%. So let's leave it at 100, but your students are able to retake that quiz as many times as they want. All right, so that's done. Now what we're going to do is activate the quiz. And now if I go back, you'll notice there's this little graduation cap icon, and that denotes that there is a quiz connected to this module. Now that I have my lessons in here, my quiz in here, I am ready to go prime time. So last thing I want to do is go back to my sales funnels and make sure that this got added to my AI Adventures membership. So I'm going to go in here. I can see my AI blogging mastery course, my ChatGPT, and my AI Adventures membership, but I am not seeing this course, and that is why I always like to double check. So what I want to do is go ahead and add this as a product. Before I do though, let's go back one more time to my courses, and you can see that the status is still showing inactive. So let's go ahead and activate my course. All right, so now that we've created the course, what I also did is activated the course. Now that I've activated it, what I want to do is go back to my membership. So site sales funnels, let's go to our AI Adventures membership in system, and here I want to add that as a resource to anyone who purchases the course. So I have my order bump resources and then my main resources. So I want to edit my main resources, say that 5 more times, and from here we can just go ahead and add our resource, which is our course, and this one is the AI prompts mastery, and we're going to give it full access. And you can also choose if you want to add grant access on a specific date and or apply expiration date to your course. I'm not going to do any of those, so I'm going to hit save right here, and system is telling me that hey, once you hit save, this product is going to appear on every single page within this membership. So if your students have access to this membership, then they're going to see it completely fine. And that's it. Now that course has been created, it has been added to my membership, and now the final thing I want to do is go back to my courses, go to the AI prompts mastery, and preview this as a student. So I'm going to go and select a lesson and just hit preview, just to make sure that everything looks perfect. Now, when you're in preview mode, system will remind you, do not share this URL with anyone. So make sure you don't, because that URL is just a preview URL, because you can see the preview hash at the end of it, which means it will not work if you share this URL with anyone. All right, so my course looks good. Let's just make sure that the quiz is in here. This is my second lesson. Let's mark it as complete. Here's my final lesson. And then you can see the quiz is here. So let's mark this one as complete. And now your students should be able to take that quiz once they mark your lessons complete. So here's my correct answer. I'm going to submit it and yay, I passed. And there you have it. That is how you can create courses in Systeme.io. I am a Systeme affiliate and that's how we keep the channel running. So I will drop my affiliate link in the description. If you want to get your Systeme subscription through my link, I would highly appreciate it. With that, don't forget to smash that subscribe button so you get notified next time I release a video. And until next time, keep creating.